Okay, this is a video log, a vlog. Um, Let me see here. I'm picking up this practice, um, and it's transitioning from when I was arrested and I was in jail back in May. I began to write my thoughts down on paper, and I called it thoughts at the top, and then I just wrote one page of uh, whatever was on my mind. Um, and then when I got out of jail, I continued that process in rehab, and then at the top, I listed 5 things I am grateful for every day that I would write in a journal. And eventually, I ran out of things that I was grateful for. Um, I can only list so many things. There are only so many things in this universe that we experience. I mean, without getting super specific, uh, you know, you stop at I am grateful for food rather than I'm grateful for beans, bananas, meat, potatoes, etc. Um, so I stopped writing down what I was grateful for. I pretty much ran the gamut of everything that I was grateful for. Um, and now I'm picking up this Oh, and then from there I went to I would tweet within the word limitation every day a tweet. Um, so I went from sharing it, writing it down for my own personal to now. Of course, I have one follower, so I don't think I'm really sure. But it's the act of putting it out there in the public that I don't know. Doesn't really change much as far as uh, me changing what I write down, as far as whether I'm only me is viewing it or whether the public's viewing it. The only things that I don't talk about much in the public is when I used to is suicidal thoughts, because that sends out a red flag, and then people might take that the wrong way and then come try to like take my ass in on a 5150 or some shit. But my suicidal thoughts are the most like back when I used to spend 1 year of my life every day uh, practicing manual strangulation. Um, that I couldn't understand, and now I can't verbalize or understand why I kept doing that. Became a compulsion, I guess, and I everything that I do, I want to succeed at. For some reason, I found at that time that it was something that I wanted, but uh, more I practiced it, more like became a compulsion, and then every time I become habitual with something, I want to perfect it, and if I fail at it, of course, what I couldn't grasp was that it's impossible to choke yourself. I thought I could black out. I'd choke on myself, and then I'd black out, and then get to the like, see what that's like. Um, but since that time, I have blacked out. I overdosed twice on. Funny enough, I overdosed twice on GHB, and I woke up in another place, like a hospital, not knowing how I got there. And I know that there was that time where I was no consciousness. It's just crazy. Usually, like when you're sleeping, you're you're not conscious, but you're in your sleep world. You know what I mean? When you wake up, you remember your dreams. Um, you remember, turning around in your sleep or whatever. Uh, your movements in bed while you're sleeping, and wake up and then go back to sleep. All that's in your memory. But when I overdosed on GHB, I just woke up in a hospital. That's all I remember. I have no memory, and have not ever gained it since. I was completely unconscious. They had to stick tubes down my throat to resuscitate my breathing. Uh, and I woke up with tubes in my mouth and my throat. It was very uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, it saved my life twice, or else I could have died if the ambulance didn't arrive in time. Uh, so that's I got my answer. That's what I always wanted to know, what it was like, and that's why I kept choking myself out. I didn't know how to I didn't want to hang myself because I nobody was there to rescue me. So I thought, well, if I just cut off the blood supply and oxygen to my head for long enough, ah, it's impossible. So, but I kept feeling like I couldn't get it going, and it was too painful. And then every day I would just try it again and again and again, and uh, and I still could not succeed. Could I push myself past that brink of pain, past the point of pain, and then obviously your arms are going to give out, and then you're going to come back in the blood, and it's going to go right back. you know, it's that's why I can't understand why I did that for so. You know what I mean? It's like I'd have to set up some kind of rig uh, that would release me once I. Um, yeah, but I guess I could just count myself grateful that I finally got to experience, and I don't have to go revisit trying to fucking enter that realm of unconsciousness because I've already entered it. That's what I wanted. I wanted to know what it was like, and it's just blank. It's empty. It's nothing. It's no recollection or whatever, and it's painless, absolutely painless. And so and that's death. Whether I was dead or not, I was fucking so unconscious past the point of even remembering anything or having any kind of dream. I guess you don't go into REM sleep when you fucking lose, you lose all fucking. So I don't know. That's I didn't really study what GHB overdose, what that state of mind that induces. That's just hey, what's up?
Private time?
Huh?
You want to go?
What?
It's a private conversation?
No, no,
Alright, cool. I'm listening.
no. That's just me. I'm just doing a journal entry, video log. I was talking about. I want to ask you a question. There's the whole thing about this is scheduling. That's what I'm titling it.
Okay.
Do you what's your advice on scheduling? Do you have a schedule? Do you schedule?
I think schedules are extremely important.
Yeah, so do I. Do you
It's,
write your schedule down or?
I do if I can.
Yeah.
It's extremely important to not start your day until you have it planned out.
Right.
And then to not start your week until you have it planned out.
So you go by daily and weekly?
Daily, weekly, monthly. I go as far as I can to the best of my ability.
Right.
And then, things change. Things get done sooner, things get added to that, and then you cross them off your little to-do list, and then you keep refining it. But I mean,
Yeah.
the goal is to have the year planned out.
Okay.
To the best of your ability.
What do you mean like you plan the year out? Like you don't
mean,
individually schedule every day and
you can't really do that. I mean,
I have I have my Google Calendar which I put recurring repeating events every day.
Yeah. So
and,
you're gonna have
it
like
goes the whole year, you know what I mean?
you're gonna have weekly things like working out.
Right,
Time
weekly.
for your hobby or your passion. You're gonna
Right.
have your work schedule.
Right.
You're gonna have your goal schedule, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
have recreation tied in there. So I mean, you got to plan out to the best of your ability
Yeah.
and make the adjustments along the way, like adding and subtracting things
Yeah.
as it comes up. But I mean, I try to have like a 1 year vision. Like where do I want to be in a year, and what needs to happen during this year to get that done,
Yeah.
and then mixing in everything like work, health, recreation and hobby, passion,
Yeah.
and then just fitting it all through there as best as I can, with leaving room for life because things happen. So
Yeah.
leave room for flexibility and movement and rearranging and things like that to the best of your ability, and then just
Yeah, I can come up with like short-term goals and shit like that.
sure.
Like, but like the long-term goals is trouble. Like, how do I fit that? Like, I don't know, like the time frame on that and how I would even fit that.
It's difficult, really. Just what like my dad.
Like I know I want to be 220 pounds at
Okay.
12% body fat.
Right. And you don't know how long that's going to take you.
No, I mean I guess I could figure it out, you know what I mean? But
Well, see,
calculate it out. But that's like you
in a
know,
scenario like that, you could be like, okay, where am I right now, and what's my body fat right now, and what you'll do is you're gonna do like you're gonna do test goals, right? I'm gonna see how close I can get to this goal in the next 2 years,
yeah,
and then you gotta do the proper research and everything. But my dad used to, he was a consultant for major companies like PCI Global, um, large medical companies hired. He was an independent. He was an independent. How do I describe what he was? Consultant that came out and businesses would hire him to teach managers how to run their companies,
yeah,
right? And he would always say this: look, you got to have you got to don't go past 5 years ever, because it's just you just can't. You can't.
Yeah.
So realistically, anything that you want to get done can be on a 5 year list, even if it's like college, 4 years. Anything that you want to get done,
all right,
planning for a house, all these things, right? And what you do is you just start putting these things in order
yeah,
from as far as you want, and you start out little. You start out with just doing weekly goals, and then once you get the rhythm of that going, and then you feel like, okay, so now I really want to look into the future. How far do I want to be? Or where do I want to be within this next year? Okay, I want to get these certain things done. How long do I think it'll take? And then you chart those out to the best you can. And then once you start, right, day by day going through your stuff, you take an inventory of how your year is looking. After like a week, you check it out. After a month, you check it out, and then
Right.
you might go, "Oh, I'm not going to hit this. I need to send this out a little bit further, and there's some things I need to do to along the way."
all right. That's good advice. So, like when you plan your year out, what do you like start from January or like?
No, I don't do it like that. How I do it is I just think of the things I want to accomplish first, right?
Yeah,
So okay, I want to accomplish these things by what date? So okay, so say it it's December now, right?
right,
So by next December, I want to have A, B, C, D, E, and F accomplished. All right, and then you start looking at those things, and you put them down on paper, and you start trying to figure out how long you think it's gonna be to accomplish each one of those things, right? So then you say, okay, so project A, I want to get it done this year. I don't think it'll take the entire year. I'm pretty sure I can get this done within 4 months. So you look 4 months into the future
yeah,
and put a finish date for A. And then for B, you go, okay, how long do I think it's going to take to do this one? And then you just check it out. You do your research, figure it out as best as you can, and pick a date that you're going to set for yourself during that year. And then boom. And then the same thing for all the other goals, right, for that year. After those are on the calendar, then you do all of your weekly schedules, your work schedule, your health, and your everything else that you're gonna allow yourself to do during the day, and then you'll start seeing, how much time you have to work towards those goals with everything else that you're doing, and then as you're plotting towards, you don't have to look at next December. You just look, okay, next 3 months I got to get here. How am I doing? You just take an inventory every month on your way to that goal and see how feasible it is. You might have to go, okay, now you know what, this is going to take 6 months, not 5, and then you
Right.
just you go about it that way. At least that's what I did.
So like, do you think that rehabs, is that what they, I don't know, like, do they set out to like, because it seems uh, like the routine of it, like, is that something that's they intend to, so that you are scheduled, or is that not one of the, like, are they not setting out to do that? It's just the way it is, so that you
Well,
have to, I don't know, 'cause,
this
like,
is a program that
I think it like because I think it like it ingrains in you to be scheduled to this like if it goes for someone who likes to work like instead of being so spontaneous, like
yeah,
it's I think it's just
it's
the
it's a
nature of it.
structure building kind of a thing in my mind, right?
Right.
How I look at it is, okay, a lot of the guys that come here, if you just, observe the average of men, right?
Yeah.
Do they have any kind of structure in their life? Or are they just kind of flying by the seat of their pants?
Right.
So, okay, we're going to wake up at this time, we're going to do this devotion, we're going to have these meetings during this week. You have to get to them, right?
Right.
You need to find somebody to hold you accountable, like a sponsor or whatever it may be, right? For the average person. Not everybody really needs this program, except they're just assigned to it because of parole.
Right.
Not everybody that comes in these doors needs this type of structure, but a lot of them do.
Right.
A lot of them never learned goal setting. A lot of them never learned, okay, I need to get up every day at this time. I need to eat at this time. I need to do this. Okay, so and it's up to the individual. We can't make anybody care or want to, but if they
Right.
stick to the program, they're going to learn to get up every day at a certain time, go to bed at a certain time, eat at a certain time,
Right.
and if they really do the program, if they commit themselves, they'll learn, like, okay, you can accomplish something you set your mind to, like getting through the AA book. Let's just say that's a goal, right? That's an example. I want to get through this whole book in this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do a chapter a day. I mean, not a chapter a day, but do a portion of a chapter a day and get through it, and then you work with somebody, and then you learn through that part, about the book and about yourself. Does the structure of the program, was it initially intended to teach structure? I don't know, but I think a lot of guys need that. Maybe they found out that that's what works best, is to keep them busy enough to not leave them around just thinking about wanting to do drugs.
Mm. Cool. All right.
Sorry.
No, thanks for your advice. It was cool.
So,
I don't really meet a lot of people that are like scheduled like that, like consciously think about it.
yeah.
So that's cool. Is that from your dad? Do you
Yeah.
think?
Matter of fact, I've been almost having, like, I don't want to call it panic. It's not panic, but it's like, for the last week I've been going, man, I really need to get a calendar, like a big one,
Yeah.
right, that you can see every day. Because I like I have a calendar on my phone, and I put it in there, and the technology is great. But there's just something about having a big one, like, on your desk every day that you just look at, right? Someone calls you, boom, you put something down. And you start planning it out, and
Yeah.
you can look through it. It's just nice having something like that. So
I
it's
have
just,
one of those. Mom, I asked her to bring it to me, but
it's just so good.
It's a
having
dry
it.
erase calendar.
Yeah, those
I
are
use
cool
for a
too.
drawing board. But
Those are really good. But all I know is, like, so it's just personal experience, man. My high teens and low 20s was reactive. I never planned anything.
reactive, yeah,
Everything was reactive, right?
yeah,
I used to race motocross, so I did a lot of dirt bike riding, and that was like my hobby and my passion was dirt. I just loved it, right?
yeah,
And that was mainly where my goals were. Okay, I need to get a dirt bike. Okay, I need to get some gas so I can go ride. Okay, get some
Right.
buddies, whatever, get out there. But everything else that happened in my life, bills, tickets, things that came up, getting arrested or whatever, I never planned for them. I just reacted to them.
yeah.
I was just always reacting to a crisis,
Mm-hmm.
going through, like, okay, great, okay, flat tires and don't have money to fix it, crisis, reacting, and that's how my early 20s were. And then when I hit, like, 27, almost 10 years ago, I called my dad up, and I just was like, look, I just feel like I can't get a handle on my life. And he's like, because you don't have a handle on it. And he sat me down, and he just said, look, you need to start goal setting.
Right.
Goal setting will change your life. And I'm like, okay. So you're telling me if I have a list of goals, it'll dramatically change my bank account and my life and everything? He said, drastically. So he had me create a list of goals. And then we went over that list of goals, and then we put them in priority and order, right? Things that were actually important, things that were fun stuff, and all my goals were just fun stuff. Nothing was serious. And he said, okay, so here's where we address it. Look, everything you want to do is just nothing but fun stuff, but you're not really, none of your goals are like, okay, taxes, savings, where do you want to be? What do you want to do with your life? What kind of career do you want to have? And I had no idea what I wanted to do. I'm like 27 years old. I have good experience with things. I did a lot of construction stuff. I had good construction background. I did home remodeling. I worked for Renovation Masters, so I can do anything to a house. I can do drywall, framing, electrical, pretty well.
Right.
I can do tile work pretty well. And he said, so, I mean, he's like, how do you like this stuff? I'm like, it's all right, but, the money's just like $18 an hour, $20 an hour if I'm doing good, He's like, well, you need to make more than that. So pick one thing. Don't, you can do everything in the house, but which one's your favorite? So I said, well, my favorite thing is installing the surround sound systems for the home theater, systems. I love putting in the speakers, hooking it up, mounting the TV on the wall, and turning it on, and it sounds awesome. Like, I love doing that part. He said, okay, so specialize in that. So that's where I started. So I started setting goals for, okay, well, what do I, he's like, you're not going to make any money working for someone else. So
You're working all day.
I got a job working for this company called STV.
STD?
STV, Service TV. And I was making like $30 an hour, which I thought was pretty good. And he said, you can do way better. You need to start your own business. You need to have your own corporation. You need to, so all these things started getting on my list. Okay, I need to get a corporation. I don't know anything about running business. It's so easy once you figure it out. It's $300 with the state of California, Secretary of State of California, and bam, you've got a corporation. Legal, you're a legal business. And then and then I found out, okay, so I'm dealing with speakers, low voltage things. I'm not dealing with any high voltage, so it's a C7 contractor's license. I studied for that, got my C7 contractor's license. So now I'm legally a contractor, and I have a business. Now I can legally do business in the state of California and make money. And I went from making $30 an hour to charging clients $80 an hour, and $150 an hour for a two-person labor. And I went from, $2,500, $3,000 a month to making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, really fast. So yes, goals, huge. Schedule, huge. Sticking to it, huge. Having a vision for your future, huge. Knowing where you want to be and then working towards that. It's all massive. It's all massive. Finding a mentor, that's another thing that should be on the list. It doesn't have to be someone with AA. It can just be someone that you have some form of respect
That's actually one of my goals, is to find a mentor.
Yeah. And find one that you jive with. It doesn't have to be just some guy who has a lot of money, because he might not know what you're into. You know what I mean? But when you do find one, that will be, it's just invaluable.
How do you find a mentor?
Oh man, how do you find a mentor?
Mentors.com.
Well,
Have to be lucky.
you gotta, whatever it is that you like, whatever your passion is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is you want to do with your life, you gotta, is the word immerse? You have to immerse yourself into that society.
Right.
You gotta go to those conventions, you gotta go to those rallies, meetings, whatever they may be, conferences,
Right.
Art things. I don't know what your particular thing is. I know I'm just using it as an example, And you get around those people and you network. Hi, my name is so and so. This is what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and then you strike up conversations. And really, everything is personality, man, and everything comes out of those conversations with people. And now you're making connections and you're networking with people in the field or area of your interest, and they are like minded. And then boom, you bump into somebody who could be an investor. He's got all the money in the world. He's a millionaire, right? And he's just looking for an artist to help. You never know. Maybe he wants to start his own gallery and wants to have you feature his gallery, and he wants to fund your life. I mean, things like that happen all the time.
Right.
My sister is an artist, and she lives in Ventura at The Wave. And The Wave is an artist community called the Working Artists of Ventura. And she auditioned to get into this community at the city council with her son. And they let her be in it, and your rent is based off of your income. Every month you're featured in the gallery, so you get to put all your artwork up. I mean, it's a tremendous thing. I could probably give you her phone number, and she could tell you about things like that. This is it starts right here, and
Right.
she could probably plug you into somebody.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you could give me that.
there's some really cool stuff happening. You know, so and she doesn't just do art. She does art. She does hair. She's a cosmetologist and a barber. She's a yoga instructor. She does all kinds of really cool shit, and she's in that kind of a crowd and does all those things. So, I'll have a talk with her.
Yeah.
And she can just let you know what she did and how she went about it, and she can tell you and give you some really good pointers, I'm sure of it. She'd love to talk to you.
All right, cool.
All right.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Hey, Santiago.